Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most dramatic and controversial episodes of World War II involving two of the biggest names in Allied command, General Dwight D. Eisenhower and Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery. The question at the heart of this video is, why did Eisenhower strip Montgomery of command over approximately 300,000 American soldiers in early 1945? This involved the U.S. 1st and 9th Armies, a massive force that had been temporarily placed under Montgomery's control during the Battle of the Bulge. This decision came after a disastrous press conference by Montgomery that infuriated American generals and nearly shattered Allied unity at a critical moment. But to understand why it happened, we need to go back and look at the bigger picture: years of strategic disagreements, personality clashes, and high-stakes battles. Stick around as we unpack the story step by step. Let's start in June 1944 with Operation Overlord, the D-Day landings in Normandy. Montgomery, commanding the 21st Army Group, British and Canadian forces, was also the overall ground forces commander for the initial phase of the invasion. Eisenhower, as Supreme Allied Commander, oversaw everything from his SHAEF headquarters. Monty had a reputation as a cautious, methodical planner, honed from his victory at El Alamein in North Africa. His plan for Normandy was to pin down German forces around Caen with British and Canadian troops, while allowing the Americans under General Omar Bradley to break out in the west. This worked, culminating in the breakout and the encirclement at the Falaise pocket. But cracks were already showing. Americans, like General George Patton, felt Monty was too slow, and there were accusations that he didn't close the Falaise Gap aggressively enough, allowing thousands of Germans to escape. By September 1944, as Allied forces raced across France, a major strategic debate erupted: how to finish the war quickly. Montgomery pushed hard for a single thrust strategy, a narrow, concentrated attack northward through the Netherlands, across the Rhine, into the Ruhr industrial heartland of Germany, and then to Berlin. He wanted priority in supplies and 40 divisions, including American ones, under his command to make this full-blooded thrust. Eisenhower, however, favored a broad front advance, pushing forward along the entire line to stretch German defenses thin, capture key ports, and avoid the risks of a narrow salient with exposed flanks. Logistics played a role too. Supplies were stretched thin, and the vital port of Antwerp wasn't fully operational yet because Montgomery prioritized his thrust over clearing the Scheldt estuary. Eisenhower compromised by approving Montgomery's bold plan, Operation Market Garden, a massive airborne assault to seize bridges in the Netherlands, allowing ground forces to bounce the Rhine. It was a gamble, and it failed spectacularly at Arnhem, with heavy losses for the British 1st Airborne Division. A bridge too far, as it's often called. Market Garden's failure strengthened Eisenhower's commitment to the broad front and damaged trust in Montgomery's bold plans.
The single thrust versus broad front debate wasn't just tactical, it was personal and national. Montgomery was outspoken, often arrogant in his communications. He repeatedly lobbied Eisenhower for his plan, suggesting he should lead the main effort. This rubbed American commanders the wrong way, especially as U.S. forces now outnumbered the British. Patton wanted his own thrust in the South, but Eisenhower rejected both narrow ideas. He believed a broad advance would prevent Germans from concentrating defenses and was safer given supply constraints. Historians today largely agree Eisenhower was right. A single thrust risked overextension, vulnerable supply lines, and potential disaster if flanked. Plus, pre-agreed occupation zones meant racing to Berlin wouldn't change post-war boundaries. But Montgomery's persistence created friction. By late 1944, as forces approached the German border, the stage was set for the next December 16, 1944, Hitler launches his last major offensive in the West, the Ardennes counterattack, known as the Battle of the Bulge. German forces smashed through thinly held American lines in the forested Ardennes region, aiming to split the Allies, capture Antwerp, and force a negotiated peace. The initial surprise was total. American troops fought heroically. Places like Bastogne became legends, but the Bulge created a dangerous salient. Communication lines were cut. Bradley's 12th Army Group HQ in the south couldn't effectively command the U.S. 1st Army, Hodges, and 9th Army, Simpson, north of the Bulge. On December 20th, Eisenhower made a pragmatic decision: temporarily transfer the 1st and 9th Armies, about 300,000 men, to Montgomery's 21st Army Group in the north. This restored unified command on the northern shoulder. Montgomery acted decisively. He stabilized the line, repositioned reserves, and prepared for counterattacks. Patton, in the south, attacked northward to relieve Bastogne. The German offensive stalled by Christmas, running out of fuel and momentum.
Montgomery performed well on the northern front, reorganizing defenses and planning the eventual pushback. By early January 1945, the crisis was easing. Allied counterattacks were pinching the Bulge. On January 7th, Montgomery held a press conference for war correspondents. His intent was to update on the situation, but it went horribly wrong. Monty praised the American soldiers' fighting spirit, but then described how he had taken over the battle, arranged the defenses as a good doctor would, and implied he had saved the day. He barely mentioned American commanders like Bradley, Hodges, or Patton. It sounded like he was claiming credit for turning around an American disaster. American journalists and generals were furious. Headlines screamed that Montgomery was patting himself on the back while downplaying U.S. efforts. Bradley was livid. He and Patton even talked about resigning if Montgomery wasn't removed. The press conference threatened Allied unity at a time when cooperation was vital.
Eisenhower, always the diplomat balancing coalition politics, had enough. The temporary command was always meant to end once the Bulge was reduced, but the press fiasco accelerated it. Around January 12, 1945, Eisenhower ordered the U.S. 1st and 9th Armies returned to Bradley's 12th Army Group, effectively stripping Montgomery of those 300,000 American troops. Montgomery apologized privately, and Eisenhower accepted to keep the alliance intact. Firing Monty would have caused a massive rift with the British. The Bulge was fully eliminated by late January. The war continued until May. In the end, Eisenhower's decision preserved unity while asserting American leadership as U.S. forces dominated the front.
So why did Eisenhower strip Montgomery of those American soldiers? It wasn't punishment for military failure. Monty had done a solid job in the Bulge. It was the culmination of strategic disagreements, Monty's tactless press conference claiming undue credit, and the need to soothe American pride and command structure. This episode highlights the challenges of coalition warfare. Brilliant generals, but egos and national sensitivities nearly derailed victory. What do you think? Was Eisenhower right, or should he have kept Monty in charge longer? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more WW2 deep dives. See you next time.